Hi everyone, I'm back and I've decided that I actually want to add one more talk to the series Girl Talk. So, this will officially be the last video on Girl Talk, and I'm going to title it Respect Yourself. I wanted to talk about it because in my experience from talking to other people and stuff, I have learned and realized that for some reason, as ladies, we are now at a place where we just don't respect ourselves. We don't respect ourselves in regards to the way we handle ourselves in relationships and how we allow other people to treat us in relationships. For some reason, the moral ground or the moral level for relationships now has completely changed. We've lost standards. We've decided to just compromise on everything, and for some reason we've decided to separate relationships and God. Like, you find people that say they're Christian but are not conducting themselves in a Christian way when you're in a relationship. And in the same breath, then you're complaining about why you can't find a decent relationship, when are you going to get married, etc., etc. And these are the same people as well that sing the famous mantra of all men cheat. I heard one as well that if a guy is not married and is dating, you can take him because that means he's not taken. Dating means if he's in a relationship but he's not married, it means he's still available. The same people where I've heard people talking about. Well, nowadays, if you want a good guy, you're just gonna have to get him from someone, because you're not just gonna find a good guy that's waiting single by himself. So I just wanted to address that quickly and just help you guys to understand that um, all of this, in a way, is the devil's plan and the devil's agenda to make sure that you never end up in a good relationship. This also applies to people that have decided to settle in relationships as the side chicks, the side dish, the side piece, the small house, or whatever other term that we'd like to use. All of those things are things that the devil designs to be able to continue the agenda and the myth that there are no more good relationships, you cannot find a good man, and it takes away from you. The devil is robbing you, and you are allowing him to rob you from experiencing the goodness of what God has for you for marriage. You have people that have accidentally found themselves in relationships with people that are married, but when they found out that he's married, they decided to stay, and they have every excuse in the book. Like, he said he's going to leave his wife, he doesn't love his wife, no, it's a difficult circumstance, etc. You have so many excuses, but at the end of the day, what I can tell you is, if it's something from God, God will never give you something that is complicated, and there is nowhere under this world that God is going to bless you with someone else's husband. It's just not going to happen like that. You can tell yourself any story you want. You can let your emotions take control of you. You can, other people talk about, but I'm in love, I love him, and I know he loves me too. It's just that he's in a bad situation. No, God is never going to give you a situation where that is complicated, that is a gray area, that is not black and white. God just doesn't work that way, and God will not choose to be represented in that way. And what I can tell you is, the moment you decide to stay in that relationship, you have robbed yourself of the opportunity to get into a godly relationship and experience the fullness of what God has for you. You've just robbed yourself. Whatever reason you decide to stay in such a relationship and you think you're happy and you think you're in love, you must understand that whatever it is that you're holding on to in that relationship, God has so much more for you. God has better for you. And if you decide to stay in such a relationship, remember, a marriage is a covenant between husband, wife, and God. So the moment you decide to get into a relationship with someone who's already in a covenant with God, then be careful. You're walking on very thin ice, because you're interfering in a godly covenant. So you have to be very careful. And other people choose to stay because they say it's very difficult, I can't leave him, I love him. yes, it's going to be difficult. If you're looking for an easy way to get out of a relationship that you know you have no business being in, there is no easy way. You just have to rip the band-aid off and get out of the relationship, and God will help you the rest of the way. But if you're looking for an easy way to get out of such a relationship, you're not going to get it. You're going to stay stuck in that relationship because you're so in love, and you're going to miss out on the opportunity to experience the fullness and the perfection of what God has for you. The devil just wants to keep you in a situation that entangles you and keeps you locked up and chained down, that you are unable to release yourself and be able to meet the person that you're actually supposed to be with. The person that is in a complicated relationship, a relationship that is full of drama, that is not the relationship that God wants you to be in. But the devil will make it such that you're so in love, so many emotions running and everything, that you feel like, oh no, but we love each other and all of those things, that you end up staying and you end up entangled in this situation, and you will never leave. And guess what? You're stuck there. You'll never experience the fullness of what God has for you for marriage. And this applies to people that have decided to compromise in relationships where someone mistreats them, people that have decided to just settle. You just settle because, I mean, he's an okay guy, you know, so you just settle. But you forget that God has great things for us, especially when it comes to marriage. God has wonderful promises that he has for us when it comes to marriage. And if you believe in God and you trust in God, you must trust him for a good husband. He will give him to you. He already has him lined up for you. But be careful, because the devil's plan is to make sure that he blocks you and he messes you up and he jacks you up emotionally, physically, that you will never get to a place where you're ready for the guy that God has for you. You'll never get to a place where you get to meet the person that God had for you, because you have a choice. You always have a choice. And choices are not necessarily easy. A lot of choices that you have to make are difficult choices, but you have to be able to see beyond that situation and understand the fullness of what God has for you, and understand the agenda that the devil has, and he wants to use you to fulfill. So if you believe that God has a good man for you, and you believe that God has good things for you, get yourself out of any complicated relationship, any complicated situation, any situation that's gray and you're not sure what's going on. Get out of it. God has nothing to do with it. And if you're looking for an easy way out of that relationship, there is none. Respect yourself. Respect yourself to know that you deserve better. Get out of there. That is not the man that God has for you. That is not the man God lined up for you. God does not work that way. When God brings you the man that he wants you to be with, that man will be available. That man will love you. That man will respect you, and he will love you with the love that of when how Christ loved the church, that unconditional love, that love that protects you and not hurt you, that love that protects your honor. A man that is not willing to, a man that is willing to keep you on the side is a man that doesn't respect you, is a man that doesn't want to honor or value you. So it's up to you to respect yourself enough to take yourself out of that situation, so that you can be available and be in a position to meet the person that God has for you. Because I promise you, the person that you're with in a complicated relationship, that is not the person that God has for you. God does not work that way. And if with all your heart you trust and you believe that God is the king in your life, God is in control of your life, you serve God, then you must believe that God has better for you, because he does. And don't allow the devil to take away that opportunity from you by messing you up, by leaving you in this messed up relationship. You're better than that. Respect yourself enough to walk away. So that's the last video that I have for you on Girl Talk.